Oh man, look at the date! Let's talk about the best games of 2016. Yeah. Anyways, 2016 was a great year for video games between the AAA titles and the indie games, and well, I actually got to play a lot of them this year, which is kind of weird for me because normally I'm too poor to play any of them. So yeah, this isn't a top 10, it's just a list of games that I think you should play from last year. They definitely had to have come out last year at least, or like there had to have been like a major expansion to them. That's my only rule, really. That's a rule of some sort. So yeah, in no particular order, here are my favorite games from 2016. Killer Instinct isn't a new game by any means, but the fact that new content is still coming out to this game 3 years after its initial release is pretty unbelievable. And yeah, there were other fighting games that came out this year, Street Fighter V, but none of them came close to the overall package that Killer Instinct has been building since its release. Season 3 of its downloadable content was released this year, which has some pretty crazy-ass characters. There's the Arbiter from Halo, General Ram from Gears of War, and well, just absolute craziness. I mean, look at this Kilgore dude. He's like a Fulgore, but he's a Kilgore. It's great. It's a game that makes you feel unstoppable once you learn the combo system. And did I mention that there's story modes and an XCOM-like mode where you fight evil shadows from taking over the world? If you haven't jumped on Killer Instinct yet, now's the perfect time. Perfect. The second season of the DLC just so happens to be free for gold members starting January 16th. Which I'm gonna guess out of my laziness, this video's already up by now, so jump on it. Hashtag not an ad, but totally could be. It's the best fighter I've played in years. So until Street Fighter V is complete, or Tekken 7 comes out, Killer Instinct is my go-to fighting game.
I'm afraid your path ends here.
I think it's fair to say that I need to explain myself better when it comes to my love of the Souls series. I'd like to say the same for Bloodborne, but I don't have a PS4, and I can't play it, and so on and so forth. Dark Souls 3 is essentially everything that I wanted from a sequel. The same, yet different altogether. Cool weapons, amazing boss fights, and god, the gothic nature and the haunting beauty of these games is something I can never get over. It takes the best of both 1 and 2 and makes a perfect blend of challenging but fair combat. Plus the lore is taken to a whole new level with the references to all the other games in the series. Just, it's such a good game. And the game isn't even fully complete yet, there's still a whole new DLC pack to come out. Not to totally dismiss Ashes of Ariandel, which was totally awesome. Point is, I really need to get back on my Let's Play of it, and if you haven't played it yet, then you need to do that. You need to do that right now. Battlefield 1 was a complete surprise for me. Not the fact that I wasn't expecting it, because it was marketed the hell out of, but the fact that I really didn't think I was going to like it a whole lot in the first place. I've been burnt out on FPSs for a while. The last FPS I played religiously was Black Ops, so jumping back into a familiar setting was like a breath of fresh air. And man, I wasn't expecting DICE to go well on this one, but they definitely did their research. In a war that happened over 100 years ago, it's hard to believe that a setting like World War I could be so much fun. And heartbreaking at the same time. It's hard to find footage of World War I era around the world because, well, film was still an early invention coming into its own. So to see a game like this and bring an era to life like this is absolutely unbelievable. And that's honestly my favorite part about the game, the setting. You did good, DICE. You did good. Not to mention that the game is what you would expect from your typical Battlefield affair. Vehicles, giant maps, and a spectacle unrivaled by any other game in the genre. What can I say? I think I'm in love again. And speaking of falling in love, Stardew Valley is the most peaceful, relaxing, and downright heartwarming game I've played since the last Harvest Moon. It honestly blows my mind that this was made by one single person, and it's an outright gem of a game. There's so much you can do in it. Tend to your farm, make a family, go adventuring, make friends, go in the mines, go fishing, hit on people, talk to your neighbors, you farm. I honestly wish I could give this game more time. And now that it has console ports, it makes it much easier for me to do that, because I always forget that it's on my laptop. So, yeah. If you love Animal Crossing, Harvest Moon, or any sort of farming simulator, Stardew Valley is bound to be your game for the year. It's absolutely fantastic, and I cannot recommend it enough. Plus look at all the chickens. They're adorable. Dishonored II was another highly anticipated sequel among the sea of reboots and sequels this year. Like honestly, it was hard to find games this year that weren't their own brand new IP or indie game. Anyways, it was a great turn to the city of Dunwall, and then promptly leaving the city because a coup is being thrown at you by a secret family member and mudslinging politics, framing you for murder. So yeah, Dunwall's doing great. You can choose to either play as Emily or Corvo, which is a nice change of pace. Each character has their own set of animations and void powers, but if there's one thing that I found out, it's that Emily Caldwin does not f*** around. Just look at this brutality. Savage. God, my body aches just looking at this. Overall, if you enjoyed the first Dishonored at least a little bit, the sequel will not leave you wanting. And speaking of reboots and brutality, it's Doom! Taking everything about the old and new, Doom is a brilliantly gory mix of both. It's fast, bloody, and who cares about the story? Not Doom guy, that's for sure. The mix of speed metal and the combat system makes you feel like a goddamn badass. The key to killing and surviving the hordes of zombies and demons is to glory kill them all to acquire health, armor, and ammo. And once you start chaining them together, it's just a bloody good time. I mean, the multiplayer is pretty forgettable. Fun, but there's other games that do better. But despite that, based on the campaign alone, it gets my seal of approval.
C captured. It's good to have you back, pilot.
Titanfall 2 didn't deserve the cold shoulder that it got. Its marketing was crap, no one hardly played the thing, and it's hands down one of the best shooters of the year. The multiplayer is excellent, the campaign is absolutely genius, and well, everything about this game just screams potential game of the year. This should have been the COD killer that everyone always assumes the next AAA FPS is gonna be, but everyone just shoved Titanfall 2 aside. It's just so smooth, and it feels so good just shooting and flying through the air, and just, and Titans, and just mechs, and it's so good. It's so good. Just play the game. It makes me sad that no one plays it. Just play with me. Play this game with me. So I've got to say, I've been a long-time Civ player. I remember a lot of nights as a kid just playing the original Civ on my parents' computer on DOS, and later playing the Super Nintendo port with the Super Nintendo mouse, because children can't afford computers. So Civ VI, probably one of the best Civs at launch since like Civ 3? It plays a lot like Civ 5 while also bringing new mechanics of building cities and districts, government, and more. And what really does it for me is that there's bound to be more DLC, which is only in turn going to make the game that much better. And that's just gonna be a glorious day. But fuck Gandhi. Just fuck him. And as much of a time sink as Civ 6 has been, there's no doubt which game I've spent the most time on this year. It's Overwatch. That's close enough. After playing the beta, I was hooked. So hooked that I was hooked by a road dog. So hooked that I bought the game twice already. On my Xbox One so I can enjoy it with all my console friends, and on my PC because PC Master Race. But really, this game is absolutely genius. The characters are so lovable and genuinely charming. The gameplay is so smooth and tight and is fun, and it'll just have you saying just one more game until the wee hours of the morning. With new characters and maps and events being constantly added to the game, I can see Overwatch sticking around for quite a while. And that's just the thing, that no character plays the same. You play this game for decades and never get bored. So what are you waiting for? Go get it! But if one game really won me over this year, it's the miracle that is Final Fantasy 15. A game that's been more than 10 years in the making. It's a miracle that the game turned out as good as it did. It's a game I've been waiting for longer than I've been doing YouTube. Jumping platforms, going through name changes. Saying that Final Fantasy 15 was in development hell is a bit of an understatement. But for what I wanted it to be, it's perfect. Unfinished, but perfect for what it is. The combat system is easy to learn and hard to master. The open world is absolutely breathtaking. And when the story starts to pick up halfway through, it gets really good. Trust me, the villain of this game is up there with like Kefka and Sephiroth. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's so many things to do in this game that you can spend hours doing absolutely nothing and still enjoy the game. And while it does have its issues, I've loved every second of it. There's flying cars, there's so many side quests to do, and the overall bromance of everything going on is just glorious. God, it's glorious. I want friends like that. And honestly, I might be fanboying a little bit, but come on. We were all waiting for this game. And in a way, it did its promise. We got the game we wanted. So what really could you ask for from that? I mean, I could ask for Kingdom Hearts 3. Because I've been waiting for that, like, just as long. No!